Greetings, thrill seekers. So here we are recording the amateur radio beacon, 136 kilohertz, 2200 meters, and you can see I got an LF preamp. This is a selective level meter, and over here we have a directional antenna. So the clicking noise, oh, and now my tone is starting. Alright, so that's the end of the CW 5 words per minute sequence. It's now going to go to a QRSS 30 sequence for the letter P. Alright, so we're going to go back down the hill and I will show you the transmitter setup and the antenna setup. 136 kilohertz, 2200 meters. Alright kids, here is the 2200 meter 136 kilohertz antenna system, and it's based off my original Lowfer vertical, which was a 33-foot mast, 15-foot top hat, 8 radials with a skirt wire. And if you go down towards this direction, you see, or maybe you don't, I don't know, I think I see an antenna coming off, a wire coming off one of those far radial wires, and that goes towards the front of the house, wraps around the right hand side of the property, comes back this direction, hits another like 20-foot mast, and then comes back around. Right there you can see it heading towards the corner of the house, and then it wraps around the house and ends about where that dish is, that satellite dish. So the whole thing is what, 33-foot mast, 15-foot top hat, radial wires, skirt wires, and then about 214 feet to wrap around the property, which sets it up to be around 264 foot long. but it's got a nice top hat, so it gets a lot of capacitance, and it tunes up fairly well. And for the next portion of this video, I will show you the base, where the loading coil is, and the 1-watt transmitter from the kit company. Oh, the name will come to me in a moment, but it's a kit. It came as a kit. Anyway, next. Hello, kids. So here's the loading coil at the base of the antenna, and you can see the little plastic shoebox, which is the electronics. There's a transmitter there and a keyer, and down here in the base on this bottom shelf is another plastic box. It's got a 12-volt power supply, a CB power supply. I think it's running at 13.8 volts. So if we come in a little tighter, we can see taps. That's the feed point where we're actually connecting the transmitter to the coil. And I got a truck driving by here, so we'll just wait for that to happen. All right, and then we have another truck driving by, but I'll show this to you. That's the where the antenna, the taps to connect the antenna to the loading coil. And you can see I got a 32 puff air cap and another 32 puff air cap down here, and that's just to like fine tune it when you move taps, because I don't have taps all around the loading coil. The coil form, you may be questioning yourself, what is that? It's a shelving system made by Rubbermaid, and it was intended to fit in the corner of a fence next to your barbecue. So that's what that is. Kind of weird, it's kind of triangular shaped. Another truck. But it works pretty good as a loading coil. It's kind of large. Alright, so let me come over here and show you what I got going on. Alright, there's the transmitter and the keyer. The transmitter is made by North Country Radio, and it's got a keyer on the circuit board, but I'm not using it. I'm using a keyer here, another kit made by Wind Keyer. It's a Wind Keyer, and it has a couple memories, and you can store a couple of things. Right now I have the key sequence is 5-word per minute ID with call sign, and then the letter P at QRS 30, and then it cycles around and does it again. Here's a close-up shot of the taps and the 32 puff air cap. And on the base of the loading coil, you'll see that that's the ground, and that goes down to a ground rod underneath the shelving system. So when I'm actually tuning this thing up, I don't have it hanging here right now, but you can see this toroid with alligator clips. That's where I hang the MFJ clamp-on ammeter, which is, I got 3 ranges on it. It's got 3 amps, 1 amp, and 300 milliamps. And right now, this thing with a 1-watt transmitter, I'm putting out about 9 milliamps. So I'm very pleased about that, because I think when I upgrade to the larger transverter that I have, that's going to translate to like 180, maybe 200 milliamps. So the goal of this setup, this is like the test bed setup. The goal is to hook it up to a larger transverter, and put out 20-25 watts. And I have the transverter in my possession. And then, of course, I'll hook it up to a transceiver that puts out 1 watt. I have that also, and a computer, so I can do whisper. The goal is to do whisper at 2,200 meters. But this is, you know, the initial setup. I plan to do the whisper setup in a month or two, maybe. We'll see. Spare time permitting. And that's it. The call sign for this beacon, this legal 2,200 meter beacon, is KE6PCT. KE6 Papa Charlie Tango. And that's it, kids. We're gonna upload this to YouTube for your viewing pleasure.